Hi, I'm Sally Thibault. I've been receiving a lot of messages lately from parents who are concerned about their children's stress and anxiety levels. In this video today, we're going to talk about something you can do. Our children live in a constant state of stress and anxiety. Firstly, they're highly sensitive to things that neurotypical people just take for granted, and they often can create real issues for those living with autism or Aspergers. Now, many of those issues are things we don't even understand, but they're things like too much noise and too much sensory input, clothing that's uncomfortable, or being put on a spot and expected to answer a question before they've actually had time to really think about it and time to process it. Now, all this can cause really heightened stress levels. The problem is that often that stress and anxiety is misjudged and given other names: aggression, school refusal, poor academic results, lack of empathy, talking over and over about their obsession, or not paying attention. Now, every single behaviour has at its very core a reason. There is nothing random in the mind of a young person living with Asperger's or autism. They're such deep thinkers. There's always a reason. Now, oftentimes they just can't tell you. This, I believe, is one of the most tiring and frustrating aspects of this diagnosis. But because your child cannot find the words to express how they feel, that's when others often misjudge their behaviour, and that goes on, to both escalate it and cause more issues. So if your child is misbehaving, causing trouble in school, or being challenging at home, you need to look for the signs. Because when cortisol, the stress hormone, is too high, it causes us to do one of three things: flight, fight, or freeze. So how does this look for a child living on the autism spectrum? 1, running away from school or school avoidance. Now, this is where schools really do need to take some responsibility. If a child on the spectrum is refusing to go to school or running away, there is an issue. Instead of blaming the child, look for the cause. Is the classroom too noisy? Is your child being bullied? Are the academic expectations being broken down enough? Is there too much expectations? The second one is aggression, another aspect of the stress hormone cortisol. If your child is aggressive, again, what's causing the high anxiety? What foods are they eating, for instance, that may be causing anxiety? Oftentimes our children get fixated on 1 or 2 foods that can cause feelings that are very close to anxiety, especially if one of those 1 or 2 foods has a high sugar content. But are your children being enough time to chill out at home and at school? Are there issues that are creating problems in the schoolyard? How are they being treated in the classroom? All of these can be issues that can cause aggression. And number 3, freeze. This is the one that causes true issues, because when a child is in high stress, the way in which the body protects them so they can flee from potential danger is to cause more blood and oxygen to go into the extremities, the arms and the legs, to prepare you to flee. It goes back to ancient times when we needed to get out of the jungle in time. And when that happens, oftentimes the cognitive ability shuts down. In other words, you can't think clearly, which for many children on the spectrum, they just can't learn under pressure. If your ASD child is struggling at school, look to see if they're in high stress. How can that stress be relieved? Perhaps cut down on homework or academic expectations. How can you make adaptations to assignments or exam time? Make sure your child is able to get out of class if the pressure gets too much. Allow your child plenty of chill out time after school when they come home. Our role as parents and teachers is not to expect children on the spectrum to fit into our world. Our role as parents and as teachers is to ask ourselves, how can we help them adapt to the challenges this neurotypical world presents? And in doing so, help them achieve to the best of their ability. So many times they've got it right and we've got it wrong. We need to find out how we can adapt in order for them to live their best lives just like everybody else. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love you to put them in the boxes below, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye for now.